Hello guys. Ifeanyi, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for joining once again. Gloria, thank you. Though you're barely in the class, but at least I can recognize Ifeanyi and Charity. Ifeanyi, I didn't see your assignment. What happened? I only saw Ngozi and Charity's assignments. Yeah. I don't think I saw anybody else's assignments. Checking my email, nothing. So that's fine anyway. That's fine. So, welcome to all right, no problem. It's fine. It's fine. Let's get to the class. Today we're talking about content marketing. That's my favorite aspect of digital marketing. Talking about it, content marketing. And content marketing is a powerful way to attract and engage your customers by sharing valuable, engaging, and insightful, even inspiring content, right? In this class, there are several objectives. Number one is I want you to understand what content marketing is. I want you to learn how to plan a content strategy. I want you to discover the different types of content. I'll give you, obviously, if you've been in my previous classes, you understand that I will give you real life examples of Nigerian businesses to help drive the lessons home. And then, of course, you gain tips for creating engaging, relevant, and inspiring content depending on your needs. Okay. So before we start, I want to ask a question. You can indicate with an emoji. Have you ever read a blog post or watched a video that made you want to learn more about someone's product or their services? If you've ever either read a blog post that was so engaging, you wanted to, what is this person doing? What do they sell? What service do they offer? It could be a video, maybe a YouTube video or a TikTok video or an Instagram video. Good, thank you, Charity. That is content marketing in action. In the simplest form of it, that's content marketing. All right. So let's go into the details. Definition of content marketing. I said content marketing is the practice of creating and sharing useful and relevant content to attract and engage a target audience. All right, let me take it again. Content marketing is the practice of you create, and you share useful and relevant content to attract and engage your target audience. All right. Unlike traditional ads, the goal is to educate or entertain or even inspire. Right. We are getting more people on the class. Thank you very much. All right. As I said, content marketing is different from traditional ads. All these other, even paid ads, right? Before, if you were born, during the era when TV ads were a thing, your main goal would, if you are doing business and you wanted to promote your business, the first thing is to go to the radio, go to the newspaper, go to the TV station, right? And what you would be interested is in uh, telling people, okay, buy this, buy this, buy this. Our product is this, our product is this. Buy, 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 buy. Right? That was the goal of traditional adverts. But in the era that we live in now, right? In the era that we live in, the goal now is we've shifted to content marketing. And the goal is to first of all educate, entertain, and inspire. Once you do these three things, right, you can now, people will be more comfortable, people will trust you to be able to buy what you're selling, right? Um, I said, think of content marketing as storytelling that builds trust and helps people to make decisions. Instead of pushing for a sale, you offer value, and that value is what makes people come back. How many times have you gone to a particular person's profile or a particular business's profile and you watch their content over and over and over again, different content, before you are able to be like, okay, I want to buy from these people. Has it ever happened to you? How many times have you just, maybe you come across someone's page for the first time and you're buying from them immediately? Hardly ever happens. What happens is that, oh, you come across their content, you consume what they are offering, you watch their videos, you read their blog posts, you read their tweets over and over again before you are confident, okay, that these people know what they are doing, their products are valuable, their products are authentic, before you can be able to buy from them, right? That is exactly how it is, right? I'm trying to look for a recent example of content marketing that can use to drive home. Okay, a classical example. I think I used this in the last class. I'll use it again. Hilda Baci, right? Currently, she has a restaurant, right? But before then, before her restaurant became a thing, she first of all did the hackathon. That was excellent content marketing because it made her very popular, right? People knew her. Okay, this girl, this woman, she knows what she's doing. She's very good at cooking and all those. And even before the cookathon, she's been pushing her content. It's just that she wasn't as popular as she was when the cookathon thing came along. Now, after the cookathon, she opened a restaurant, and people have been trooping in. People have been trooping because of what she did, because of what her content did for her. Even as we are talking, she's still pushing her content on various channels. I follow her on TikTok, so I see a lot of her content on TikTok. So the goal is to build relationships with your audience. That's the primary goal of content marketing, to build relationships with your audience. This will make them more likely to trust your brand and eventually purchase your products and services. All right. You want to build trust because people buy from who they trust. You don't just run to just anybody to buy, especially when it concerns things that are very vital to you. You buy those things, whether products or services, from people you trust, right? Now, the next thing we will have to do is to talk about how do you plan your content strategy. You might have heard of content strategy. What is it and how do you plan it? Now, content strategy is basically planning, right? Or what's the word what word do I use? Right? It's basically organizing your whole content marketing. Let me use agenda, right? It's essentially, what do you want to do with your content marketing? How do you want to do it? Right? Because each business will differ in its content strategy, even if it's the same industry, even if because I think there was a time two people were into on this call, two people were into fashion. Both of you might be into fashion, but your content strategy will be different because it's not the same business. You might not even have the same audience. So your content strategy, each content strategy is tailored to specific businesses. So the first step in planning your content strategy is to define your goals. Always define your goal. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve with this content that I'm planning to push out? Is it to increase brand awareness or to generate leads? Right? That would really, really help you in the language, in the tone and format of your content. So first of all, ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? Define your goals. Then secondly, you know your audience. Who are you talking to? You can't be talking. I've said this when I introduced digital marketing. You cannot be talking to everybody. It is impossible. If you're talking to everybody, you're talking to no one. Right? That's the first rule in marketing. Define your audience. Identify who you're talking to. Let's say, for example, you're into fashion, right? I want to change how we do this. I want to change how we do this. So Um, fine, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, good. What business do you do? What's your business? What's your service? What do you offer? Let's use your business for the purpose of this class. It might help you with your ideas. Are you okay with that, or should I choose someone else?
Uh, no, there's nothing wrong. Okay, actually, just I just graduated from school, so that should be last
Is
year.
it
Okay, I just graduated from school last year, university, so I'm just
okay? You
looking
just
for
graduated from school. That's beautiful. What course?
human anatomy.
Do you plan to go into that, or are you looking to shift to something else? I'm asking because I actually studied biochemistry in school, but I'm into content and digital marketing. So yours might be similar to my experience.
Okay. No, I don't want to. I just
Mhm.
want to. No, I don't want to engage myself in that. So I just want to learn this and also start
I
applying
can
it.
barely hear you.
I said I want to kind of enter into digital
You want to
marketing.
move to something else.
That is digital marketing.
Okay, but you've not chosen. That's going to be tricky. I need someone. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. You still follow. I need someone with a business I can use for practice. Victoria, can you hear me? Are you here, Victoria?
Yes, yes, I'm with you.
Good. Good evening. So,
Good evening.
can you tell me what business do you do?
Well, I sew clothes.
You, beautiful, beautiful. Okay,
Yes, and
it's
I've not really ventured into it as a business, but presently the skill I have is sewing.
okay. So, lovely, lovely. So let's use it, right? Let's say you sew clothes for corporate girlies, right? Women who work
Yes,
9 to 5. That's your. Let's say that's what you do, right? No problem. You can
yes, sir.
mute yourself. Let's continue.
Okay.
So now let's start from the beginning. In content strategy, the first thing is to define your goals, right? That's what we said. You define your goals. So um you now ask yourself, what do I want to achieve with my content marketing? Right? So the first thing you now ask yourself, I want people to know, let's call this business corporate girlies. Let's just keep it simple. I want people to know more about corporate girlies. That is brand awareness. I want just more people to know about my business. I just started, so I want more people to know about me. That is brand awareness. You've defined your goal. So the second thing is know your audience. As I said before, you cannot be talking to everybody at the same time. It's not possible. So now that you've identified your audience as corporate girls, all those women, bankers, you know, secretaries, those who work in offices 9 to 5 and need to dress smart too, you know that's your audience. Now this will help you tailor your language because it's not the same way you talk to those people that you talk to women in the market. It's not the same way you talk to remote workers who don't need suits and all those blazers, right? Now the next thing, step three, is to plan your topics. Right, you've identified your goals, you've known your audience. The next thing is to plan your topics. Now, this is where you create a list of topics that your audience cares about, right? A list of, for example, you can use research. You can go online and research. You can search about what the corporate girl is like. What kind of clothes are trending in the corporate female corporate world. You can look at what your competitors are doing. All right, what kind of topics are they talking about? You get, because I don't believe there is no business that you are the first person that is doing it. So you can use surveys. Surveys is essentially, if you have friends who are in the corporate world, you can ask them, okay, what kind of clothes are you looking for? Right? Or the ones you've been getting, do they give you what you want? What are the problems you're having with your current materials? What would you want to be solved? This is you using surveys or trends. Or you can go online, maybe on TikTok or Instagram. You look at what is trending in the corporate world for women, right? You can, maybe there's this particular style that's trending. That is spotting trends, right? Now, you can now, after you've known all these topics, you can now start creating content, either blog posts or videos or email newsletters, targeted to your audience using these topics that you've collected. All right. Now, step number 4 is you create a content calendar. Now, a content calendar is basically a schedule that lets you know when and where you will post your content. Why do you need a calendar? A calendar is basically one of the most important things you can have in your content marketing mix, because if there's one thing that will set you apart from your competitors, apart from your quality of work, is your consistency. It is not everybody who starts the race that will finish it. So you need to be consistent to outcompete others. And how do you become consistent? By having a calendar. A calendar tells you that you must post by this time. You must post with this format. That way you're following it religiously, no matter what, come rain, come shine, you're following your calendar. And what that does, what a calendar also does, is that it helps your audience know when and where to expect your content. If people know, for example, that corporate girlies, they they usually post every Tuesday by 9:30 a.m. By that time, if your content is good, by that time they will rush to your page to consume your content, because you've built that culture of consistency. All right. So that's that for um, content strategy planning. Now, the next thing we're going to move into is, I'm trying to rush this because one, I don't have network, and two, my light has issues. So I want to finish everything. Then if you have questions, you can always ask me. So the next thing we are going to tackle right now is types of content. All right, there are several types of content, several of them. Number one is the most popular, in my opinion, blog post. Blog posts are the most popular forms of content. These include written articles that inform, entertain, and educate. Right? Blog posts primarily do these three things. They inform you, they can entertain you, and they can educate you. Sometimes a particular blog post can entertain and educate, or educate and inform. You get, and depending on the topic and the angle, right? So an example of a blog post for um corporate girlies, let's say you want to write about, as you said, the goal is brand awareness, right? So an example of a blog post that is targeted at brand awareness can be um, 5 types of 5 mistakes you're doing with your corporate outfit, right? 5 mistakes you make with your corporate outfit. Another one can be, this is very direct brand awareness post. The top corporates, the top female corporate wear makers in Nigeria, something like that. Like, you just basically list the top ones. And obviously, if you're writing this type of content for your blog, your business will be number one, and then you add your competitors. Now, why a lot of people have asked me over the years, why would you do this? Why would you include your competitors? Right? The reason is to, one, to show people that you are so confident that yeah, you can they can go to others if you're not serving them well. All right. And of course, you always put yourself as number one. Like, after me, these other people follow. So I'm number one. I know what I'm doing. So even if they see your competitors elsewhere, they will associate them with being less qualified than you. That's the psychology behind it. Right? Another type of content is videos. Videos, videos. Now, videos are engaging because they help you to tell stories visually. Right? An example, of course, an example for these corporate girlies could be how to style your corporate um your corporate wear for Easter or for a special occasion or for Valentine's that even passed, because that was a work day, right? So maybe your office has a Valentine's party or something, but you still have to dress corporate. So how do you mix both of them? You get my point? Good. Another type of content is social media posts. These are quick updates, photos, or interactive posts on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You get my point. All right. So social media posts are very, very essential because help your audience have quick updates on whatever you're doing. Another popular type of content these days is podcast. And I've seen many people ask, is a podcast really a thing? Do people listen? Huh. If a business owner and you're not leveraging podcast, you're missing out. Because these days a lot of people just plug in their AirPod or their earpiece and they're consuming content. Yeah, they are listening to podcasts. So if you can carve a niche for yourself in the podcast world, you will go a long way. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about in content marketing is what is called storytelling and using case studies to push whatever you're doing. All right. Um, if you can agree with me, there is nobody, absolutely nobody, who does not love a good story. There is no one. That is the reason we watch movies, is the reason we listen to people, is the reason we converse, because whenever you're conversing with someone, in one way or the other, they are telling stories. Is the reason people read novels and books, stories. And if you can effectively tell a story with your brand, you're going to go far. So stories will make your content very, very memorable and relatable. Um, I'm trying to remember a recent one. A recent one. Okay, let's use an example. Corporate girlies again, right? How do you use storytelling to push your this thing? You might start with why you started the business. An example of why could be that you've worked in the corporate world for many years, and over the years you've had issues with, you know, other tailors messing up your clothes. You're not getting the right sizes, the right designs, and you're a fashionista, and you wanted something, that speaks to your kind of person and your style, which is why you decided to start this for those who want to express themselves through their clothes while being a 9 to 5 girl. That is a story, and it's relatable, and it is engaging, and it is memorable. Yeah. Now, another thing stories do is that they humanize you, they make your brand, even if you're not showing your face, people will be able to relate with what you're doing because there is a story to it. Right? Stories are what we use for connection as human beings. So, how do you tell a good story, a great story? The first thing is start with a hook. A hook is basically what, as hooks catch fish. Exactly. That's how hooks in content catch people's attention. So, a hook is basically what you say or what you do at the beginning of your content to catch people's attention. An example of a hook for corporate girlies could be, have you ever been in that position where you want to dress to kill for that particular meeting with a client, and then you go to your wardrobe and you don't find something that suits you? That is a hook, because a lot of people who have been in that position would resonate with you. Another hook is, this one is for videos. If you particularly have, if you're particularly shooting a video, you can just wear clothes um, that are particularly mismatching, or don't fit you to get attention. And you can be like, ditch this, ditch this look. And then you wear, you cut to a shot of you wearing very, very nicely tailored and, fitting attire. Do you get my point? That is another way to, hook your audience. Another tip for telling a great story is keep it simple. Use everyday language that your audience would use. So if you're corporate girly, for example, you know how those in the corporate world would sound, the kind of language they use, the kind of slangs they will use, the kind of expressions they will use. Right? You don't sound too technical when they're not too technical. You don't sound too simple when they're not too simple. Right? It's just like if you're talking to lawyers, for example, you use legal terms, you use legal language. If you're talking to remote workers, you use the language they use. All right. Then add emotion, right? Emotions are part of our human experience. So share your challenges, share your feelings. When talking about your experience, for example, when talking about, let's say for corporate girlies, you want to shoot a video, for example, you can talk about how, you know, not finding the perfect clothes or not finding the perfect tailor to make the perfect clothes for you. It cost you, it made you feel insecure about your looks. You weren't sure of yourself, even though you knew what you were doing, you didn't know how to present yourself. That is you sharing your feelings and your challenges. All right. Then another thing you can do is to include a call to action at the end of every content. What is a call to action? A call to action is basically something that guides your audience on what to do next. It could be click the link in my bio. You've noticed people doing that. Click the link in my bio, comment this, um, register now, buy now, join now. All these things are call to actions. They call people to act. They call people, you're basically telling them what to do next. Because if you don't, people will just read your article, they will watch your video and move on to the next thing without knowing what next to do. They might really want to do something, but they don't know what. So you tell them what to do, right? That's exactly it. The the next thing we're going to talk about is creating engaging content. I think I've talked about this, but let me dive in more. How do you create engaging content? Right? The number one thing you do is, as I said before in the beginning, know your audience. If you know your audience, you can sell anything to them. If you know, it is the reason that if Apple produces iPhone 200, a lot of people will still buy it because Apple knows its audience like the back of its hand. Right? So, write in a way, I said, write or speak in a way that touches your audience. Your language should match what they say. Right? If they speak in if they use words like kanda, soda, use the same language. Right? If they use pidgin, speak in pidgin. All right. Another thing you can do for creating engaging content is to be visual, keep it visual. Use images, videos, and graphics to break up text. I'm talking about when you're writing text now, right? When you're writing text, use images in your blog post, use images, videos, and various other graphics. Thankfully, AI has made this easy. AI has made everything easy. So you can easily create all these things. Provide value. Provide value. If you all these things I'm saying, if you don't have value to provide, if you don't know that you're supposed to be teaching your audience, you're supposed to be engaging them, you're supposed to be inspiring them, you're wasting your time. Every piece of content should teach, entertain, and particularly solve a problem. Your content should have these elements. Be authentic. This is another one. People engage and connect more with people who are authentic, people who show their true selves. You're not faking it, you're not being nice, you're not trying to be in everybody's good books. People connect more with those people, right? Don't appear what you're not. Don't appear too perfect, because no one is perfect, right? Don't use generic messages. Don't go to AI, and once it gives you something, you post it like that without using your own language to refine it. All right. Now, the last point for creating engaging content is keep it short and sweet, especially for social media. Get to the point quickly. People don't have that kind of time. If you're not going straight to the point, even if you're telling a story, don't use unnecessary rigmaroling when it's not necessary. Go straight to the point. Keep it short and sweet, and you're going to go far. It is why TikTok started trending, because TikTok primarily started as a platform where people can share short and engaging videos, less than 1 minute. That was how it started. So that should be a pointer. All right, that should be a very good pointer. Um, there is something I say, the key point to learn about creating engaging content. The more value and authenticity you offer, the more your audience will trust you and engage with your content. Let me say it again. The more value and authenticity you offer to your audience, the more they will trust you and engage with you. All right? So bear that in mind always. Bear that in mind. So, for the next thing on our plate right now, the next thing on our plate is please, I'm going to log out now and come back, please. Just give me a moment. I'm coming, please. Hey guys, I'm back. If you can still hear me, just indicate with an emoji, please. I'm rounding up now. Good. Lovely. Thank you very much. So, um, let's use a hypothetical situation to ground everything we've talked about. Let's demonstrate with a Nigerian fashion boutique. All right, this is what I penned down already. All right. So their goal, you remember when I told you the first thing you do is to have a goal, define your goal, and know your audience. So this fashion boutique, their goal is to increase online sales and drive brand awareness. That's their goal. They want to increase sales and brand awareness. So their content strategy is this: blog posts. They want to they want to make blog posts, and they want to write about fashion trends in Nigeria and tips for styling your clothes. That's their angle. That's the angle they want to use for their content. Now, for Instagram stories and posting on Instagram, they will share daily outfit inspirations and share behind the scenes content. So maybe where customers are trying their clothes, or where their staff is, maybe they have a particular building and they show their shop and how they set up everything. That's behind the scenes content, right? Then on YouTube, they there's something called lookbooks. Basically, where you show people how they can style their stuff, and then they can also post styling guides. That's on YouTube. Then there's something called interactive content. Interactive content is basically content that helps your audience interact with you, content that helps them participate in your brand. So for this fashion boutique, they can run a contest where followers share their own outfits. I think MTN, all these big brands, they do this a lot. Maybe they are running a content and they ask you make a video concerning this using the hashtag this. That's interactive content. So for this one, they can run a contest where followers share their own outfit photos using a branded hashtag. So maybe it can be style with whatever the brand name is, right? So obviously the result will be that the boutique will see increased engagement on social media. More people will come to their website, and eventually it will lead to higher sales because customers will relate to the brand and trust it because it gives the customers see this brand as an expert, and that is what you want. You want people to see you as an expert so that they can buy from you when it's necessary. All right. So I want you to ask yourself this. This is not your assignment anymore. I will send you assignment data. I want you to ask yourself this. How, whatever business idea you have in mind, what is the strategy given what I've already told you so far? What is the strategy you would use? What kind of content would you use to promote that business? All right. So that's it. I'll send you assignments later today or early tomorrow morning. Okay. That that is all. I'm sorry for rushing through this, but I don't know what's wrong with these people today. They're trying to disorient me, so I'm trying to rush as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming today. I wanna take your questions. What questions? What questions? What questions? Ngozi, do you have any questions? Great, thank you very much.
Yes.
Do you have any?
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Please,
Do you have
I
any?
came a bit late.
Okay, okay, that's fine. That's fine. When you watch the whole video, you can now ask a question in my DM. That's
And
completely fine.
strategy planning. I don't know,
You say?
I want you to throw more light on that content strategy planning.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 of it, after knowing your audience. The next one, I did not get it.
Knowing your audience, after it, you plan your topics. All right.
Okay.
Planning your
Yeah.
topics is essentially you create a list of topics that your audience cares about. What topic should they worry? Like, what are the things they want to learn about? What are the things they want to know about? What are the problems they want to be solved for them? They want, people to solve for them. What problems are they having that they need solutions to? All right. And I said that
Yeah.
you can use research. Research is basically going online, asking, what are the problems these people have when it comes to this. It can also mean looking at your competitors, what are they doing in solving those problems? Are there gaps in their solution? Right? You can also use surveys. Surveys is basically you going directly to your potential customers or your customers already, if you have one, and then asking them, what problems are you having? How are they being solved? Are you okay with these solutions? All right. Or you can look at trends, right? As I said with corporate girlies, maybe there are trends in particular styles of clothes. Right? You look at those ones and be like, okay, these can be topics I can talk about. Do you
Okay.
understand now? That's the
Yes, sir.
number 3. Plan your topics.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. You're welcome. Well, who else has questions? Is it possible to build trust without showing your face? Even yes, it is possible. Yes, yeah, it's totally possible. It's totally possible. So far as your content is relatable and human, it's possible. But I would not totally advise that, because in as much as it's possible to do, it's very hard, and people will connect to you more if they can see your face. Even if it's not a must that you post your face all the time, right? Maybe once in a while you post your face, but it's possible. It's definitely possible, because if people know that you're the face, they will know, okay, there is a real person behind all this brand stuff. Yeah, but on average, yeah, it's possible. It's totally possible. Did I answer your question, or is there any specific stuff you want to ask? Ngozi, you can ask your question.
Okay. Please, call to action.
Mm.
Concerning this call to action, please, if you can just give example of what to do to tell your audience what they should do.
Mm. Okay, a call to action is basically, as I said before, is basically telling your audience at the end of your content, your video, your blog post, whatever. You're telling them the next step to follow. Right? Either you want them to follow you, so it can be, if you like this content, follow me for more. That's the call to action. If you want to know more, click on the link in my bio. That's a call to action. Now, um, this is not a call to action. DM for price, please. It is not a call to action. It sounds like one, and you can argue that it's one, but what it will do is, thank you, Charity. What it will do is that people will not take it seriously. Now, why? Because you can easily, the reason, okay, for example, now, click the link in my bio. The reason that can work is because most of the time, if you're, let's say, on TikTok, you cannot post links in your description and it's clickable, because TikTok naturally does not want people to leave their platform, so they will not make links clickable. Same thing with Instagram. That is why you tell people to click on the link in your bio. But it is not the same with DM for price, because DM for price, you can easily state your price, that the price of that thing either in the photo or in the description. So that one no follow for call to action. Another call to action is read more. Read more is very generic. Please, lest I forget, if you're giving your call to action, make it very specific. Make it very specific so that people know what they're getting at the end of performing whatever action you ask them to perform. So something like read more is not really a strong call to action, because read more what? Right? Read more on this news is a good call to action. Right? Follow me for more updates is a good call to action. But follow me for what? Why will I follow you? Click the link in my bio to learn more about this. Is a good call to action. Do you get my point? Join this program to make 10,000 naira every day. That's a good call to action. It might be long, but it's very direct, and people know what they're getting once they click on that, once they do whatever you ask them to do. All right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other question? Because do you have more, or are you? If you have more, you can talk. If you don't, you lower your hand so I'll know those who still have questions. Any other question? Any other question before we call it a night? Any other question? Or would you prefer if you go over it, you now come to my DM? Ngozi, do you have any other question?
No.
All right, all right. So in the absence of any other question, I really thank you all for showing up once again, third week in a row, and you guys are showing up. Alozie, you've been available. Thank you. Charity, you've won yourself a strategy session with me at the end of this whole program. Keep it up, all right? Ngozi, you show up. I see you. I see you regularly. Thank you. Grace, I think this is the second week you're being available. Victoria, you don't always come on time, but you show up. You show up. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I really, really
Sir, it's because
appreciate it.
of network, that's
Um,
why. Thank you for teaching us today, sir.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So good night, all right? Good night. And I will send
Good
the
night, sir.
assignments tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I'll send the assignments. Those
When
who
are we
have
submitting, sir?
submitted, within the week, just before the next class, just submit.
Okay,
So
sir.
those who have submitted, I'll go through yours and give you a reply by tomorrow via the same email. So I'll just reply the email, okay?
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night. Take care, all right?
And you